Like many people, I had a snatchy throttle on this Ibex 450 when I first got it. I found a solution that worked for me, though it did not seem to work for everyone. Made a recording of that just some months ago, and I just did it again. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Bike Like a Dog. Be sure to like and subscribe before you leave today. Some months ago I ran across a fix for a snatchy throttle that on an Ibex 800. And I sort of bastardized that process and used it on my Ibex 450, thinking that, hey, nothing ventured, nothing gained. And I'm not going to go through the whole thing. The video is available, but in a nutshell, it was essentially turning off the kill switch in the ignition, then turning on the ignition, the kill switch, opening the throttle from fully closed to fully open over the course of 8 seconds, holding it for 20 seconds, then taking another 8 seconds to fully close it again. Then, of course, turning off the ignition, wait at least a couple of minutes before turning it back on again. And that worked for me. But while it worked for me, only about half the people responding in the comments said that it worked for them, and the other half said it didn't. Now for me, having a 50% chance of success was certainly worth making the effort to get that throttle to working better. Well, it's the middle of December 2025. I recently downloaded the latest software update for my Ibex 450. And this update fixed the issue that a lot of people were complaining about, where their odometer kept resetting. Now, I never had the issue myself, but I always want to be running the latest version of software, so I downloaded it anyway. You can probably imagine what that did for my throttle. Yeah, it reset it. When I pulled down the software update, the snatchiness of my throttle returned. Now, I wasn't surprised, just like I would not be surprised if I'd remapped my ECU and then the update reset it. It would not surprise me. If anything, yeah, I would expect it, and would only be surprised if it didn't reset it. Anyway, I went back, watched my previous video to remind myself of the steps I'd taken, and I performed the procedure again. And once again, solved about 90% of my issue. Now, I had some comments from people who said it didn't make sense from a software perspective that this would work on some bikes but not others. I mean, it should be the same on all of them. And I was a software developer, you know, I get that. But at the same time, I couldn't argue why it made sense that some people had their odometers being reset and others didn't. I remember one post from a man on a Facebook page where he'd bought one Ibex for himself and another one for his wife. One of them had the odometer reset issue and the other one didn't, and they rode everywhere together. So yeah, there are obviously some differences in the bikes somewhere, and mine not to reason why. Okay. Now, one thing I was very careful of during my execution of the process that I don't know that I made it really clear in my previous video, was that I was very careful to use a stopwatch, the stopwatch on my phone, and not just relying on myself to properly count seconds, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000. Because I found when I just counted to 8, I usually finished my count in like 7 seconds. Or maybe 9 seconds. Now, because the bike is sensing, it for exactly 8 seconds, if I am either under or over the 8 seconds, well, then I'm going to incorrectly calibrate the throttle. So I set up my phone with a stopwatch and I practiced repeatedly. It probably took me a good half dozen tries or more before I was able to make sure that I was opening my throttle at a steady rate through the entire 8 seconds. And then it was fully open at 8 seconds. I didn't want to get, 3/4 of the way through in 7 seconds and, I've only got one more second, and then jack it up the other 25%, right? I wanted to make sure it was a steady pull all the way through and all the way open at 8 seconds. And then I had to hold it for 20 seconds before starting to close it down for another 8 seconds. Now, just as with opening the throttle, you know, if I'm doing a count and I'm not right on it, I'm either shorter or longer, it's going to mess everything up. I needed to be on 8, 20, and 8, or as close as possible to, or everything was going to be incorrect, right? The calibration would be wrong. So, of course, I'm human. I can't be exact, but I could get as close as possible. The nice thing is, anytime I messed up, I could just start over again, right? Just turn everything off, wait a couple of minutes, and start the process again. I could do it 10 times in a row if I want to. Now, one thing I do want to make sure that everyone understands is mine is an Ibex 450 that's sold in the United States. The 450 MT that's available outside the United States has different software. All right, I know, for example, that the Rider app is different. It was made very clear when we started hearing about subscriptions being needed for various functions in the Rider app and stuff. There was quite a bit of an uproar here in the States until we were told, no. CFMOTO USA said, no, you've got different software and you don't have to do that. So, software in the Ibex is different from the 450 MT. This reset that I'm talking about, I've only done it on my Ibex 450, and I have no idea whether it would have any effect whatsoever on a 450 MT. But you can always try it. I mean, you know, what's it going to hurt, right? But remember, disclaimer, I don't know anything about motorcycles. I don't know nothing about no motorcycles. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. So please don't mess up your motorcycle based upon what I'm telling you. And with that, I'm going to say that's it for this update. Be sure to like and subscribe. You can catch videos in the future, which are for entertainment purposes. I hope everyone has a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and we'll see you on the other side. So long, y'all.